Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Hitman Hideout podcast. I'm here today with Reaper, myself, timothymark, and Frote7, who you may know from the Frote7 speedrun community or the Roulette Rivals tournaments, or his YouTube channel or Twitch.
Yo guys, and thanks for having me. Thanks Reaper, thanks Timothy.
Thanks for coming.
How are you guys doing?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, no worries, man.
It's you're our second guest. So obviously we had BigDaveGaming
I'm honored.
Last time, and you're obviously quite a prominent figure in the Hitman community. So we're really excited.
I don't know about that, but I'm glad to be here. This should be fun.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to getting into some interesting discussion.
Absolutely.
With some
I'm all up for it.
Your talents and involvement in the broader Hitman community.
Yeah, let's do it.
Before we get in, so we are going to be asking Frote some questions for this episode, kind of in a interview format. We're going to get some insight into his talents or his incredible talent as a Hitman speedrunner, in addition to just getting some intel about his very successful speedrunning community that's really become a prominent esport here within online Hitman circles. But before we get into that, we'd just like to give Frote the opportunity to plug himself. So did you want to give us a quick rundown of your YouTube channel and your Twitch, Frote?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. On Twitch you can find me at the name Frote7. Same as for YouTube. And on Twitter I'm Frote7. I couldn't change my nickname there, sadly.
Oh, no.
But other than that, that's the places where you'll see me either stream or post videos.
Okay.
Awesome. We'll leave links to all of those platforms in the video description, in addition to a pinned comment. So make sure you head over there and subscribe to Frote's YouTube channel and follow him on Twitch and Twitter.
Trust me, if you don't know his stuff, you won't regret subscribing.
Yeah, you will not regret.
You will learn a lot.
Thanks. You guys are too kind. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So before we kick things off, we thought we'd just get a little bit of background. So whereabouts in Europe are you from?
I'm from the Netherlands, or Holland. That might sound more familiar to some people. So yeah, West Europe.
Yeah, cool. Quite close to Denmark, where the Hitman games are made.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like an hour flight to Denmark.
Yeah. If I lived that close, I'd be going to Copenhagen all the time.
Hey, it's me again.
I wish. Sadly, at these times, not really a possibility.
Yeah.
No.
But I've actually been to their headquarters once, which was extremely awesome.
Oh, really? In Copenhagen?
Yeah. It was back in 2016 or 2017.
Oh. Wow.
And me and Hatch and Cody and White got invited there by the devs to then secretly test the pro mode for 2016.
Oh no!
And it was back in October, and it came out in January. So we got play tested and meet the developers and stuff. That was really cool.
Oh wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Did they just email you out of the blue, or did they?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. They just approached me and they were like, "Hey, are you up for this?"
Yeah, well, they couldn't have chosen a better group of people to test the game, could they?
That's a great group.
Yeah, especially Cody, I would say. He's such a veteran in the Hitman series. From the start, 100%. He played all the games, speedrun all the games. So if there's anyone input that you would value, it should be his.
Yeah, definitely.
In my opinion, anyway.
Definitely. Have you seen his anthology run?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Such an amazing player.
Yeah.
He is like a true legend.
Yeah.
In the game.
Absolutely. Do you think he'll ever do another one now that Hitman 3's out, or do you think he's done with it?
I can only hope so.
Yeah.
I think he's nervous to do another non-stop anthology thing. I'm not sure.
Because with Hitman,
no. He has the patience and the skill to pull that off easily. It's more that he has some issues with the game, with the new trilogy, and he always clarifies, he don't find these games bad or anything. There are just some design choices that he's why is it like that? That kind of keeps him from enjoying the game as much as he did all the games. But he still likes it. But I think that's the main point.
Right. Yeah. Especially, particularly the no offline mode.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is a fair complaint.
Yeah.
Especially in the first week when the servers were acting up for everyone.
Yeah,
a little bit hit and miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Although he does seem like a big fan of Berlin, which is nice to hear. I think lots of people
Well,
like.
it's a great map, really.
Yeah, great to
Yeah.
experiment with.
I think he was pleasantly surprised. He tweeted out with Berlin. So yeah, that was really cool to see. But
Yeah,
back
because
to
Cuddy is someone that likes innovative stuff.
yeah,
So like in Berlin, they implemented this new mechanic where there's like 5 out of 10 potential targets, and they
Yeah.
could also hunt and shoot you. You know, so that's just an entirely new approach, and
Yeah.
that's the stuff he likes.
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to people's runs in Roulette Rivals because of the way that you've set it up this time, where you can choose your targets. It's very clever,
Yeah.
and I'm interested to see how that turns out. Yeah.
yeah. That'll be cool.
Yeah. So, Frote, what was your first Hitman game? Did you start with the newer games? Because on your channel, it goes back to Hitman 2016, so or Hitman 1. Yeah. So, did you play the previous ones before, or?
Yeah. As a little kid, actually, the first game that I played was Codename 47. I didn't have a PC myself
Old
back at the time, but a friend of mine did. So, like one day, I just went over to his place and I saw him playing this game, and I was like, holy shit, that looks so cool, because it was like so different compared to the other games at that time. And I was really interested, and like back then I ended up being there every day, mostly watching him play, because I never really played games on a PC, but even just watching was just like super interesting.
Were you already
And
sort of
then
like
with-
planning things in your head? You're like, oh, you can do it this way, or
Yeah,
then?
that was the fun. We would just like mostly just watch a level and just stand still, and then like, okay, how would we do this? How would we get in there, you know? And we were like, I don't know, 12 at the time or something. So
yeah.
it was very overwhelming and very new.
And
But
that-
then, back to your question, the first game that I owned was the one after that, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, which out of nostalgia might be actually my favorite game, but that's pure nostalgia. Like
Yeah,
actually the game that I enjoyed the most was 2016. But yeah, I've played all the games and I've owned all of them except for the very first one.
Yeah, wow. I second you on Silent Assassin being my favorite for nostalgic purposes,
Yeah.
because that was my first game as well, and yeah,
Yeah, nostalgia is
fantastic
strong, man.
memories. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
It's
is.
a big thing in the Hitman community. There's lots of people like, oh, you like Blood Money the most. It's just nostalgia. It's like, no, I think there's something to these games as well. The old ones are still really good.
It's kind of
just-
strange now
Yeah.
how like we're starting to feel nostalgia for 2016
Paris
already.
is like, oh, wait, I remember that. Yeah. I remember the beta for the final test.
I mean,
Those were the days.
that's a common human thing, right? Like older is better usually. Because
Yeah,
we have so many
yeah.
memories tied to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know, like in general, I'm pretty good at separating those two. Like I'm fully aware it's the nostalgia why Hitman 2 is like kind of my favorite because of all the great memories as a young kid. But pure gameplay wise, then which game I had the most fun with is obviously 2016.
yeah.
So did the was it the sort of possibility space that kept you invested in the series all the way up till Hitman 3, or was there something else keeping you going? Were you interested in the plot originally? Because you don't seem as interested in the story at the moment. I saw your
No,
first
no,
stream, you
no,
skip
not
the
at all.
cutscenes, spam space, get rid of them, straight to the gameplay. Yeah. So
Yeah, no, in Hitman games, I just don't care about the story. Like, for me personally, and I know that's the beauty of Hitman as well, like, everyone values different aspects of the game, right? That's what makes this game so great and why the player base is so divided. Well, you know what I mean? Like, so many different
Yes.
interests.
So diverse. Yeah.
But for me, it's always been about the gameplay. And it's always been the case ever since... well, like I said, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin was the one that I really started playing myself when I got my own PC. And yeah, just the fact that you could approach every level multiple ways was just something that was like so cool to me because that wasn't really done before. Like most of the games up till that time were like mostly linear, especially stealth games. So that was just super cool to me.
Was Hitman the first like stealth series you played, or did you venture into Thief? Or any of those other stealth titles?
Splinter Cell.
Like it's been a long time ago, so I'm not entirely sure about the timelines, like which predates what. But I was also a huge fan of the old Tenchu games. If you're familiar with that.
I haven't played them.
No, haven't played them either.
Yeah,
but a
like
good
Nia
stealth
type
games.
game. Yeah. Metal Gear Solid, of course, the old games.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never played
Splinter
those.
Cell. Yeah, games like that. But I'm not sure which predate which. I think Splinter Cell is a little later than Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, like the very first one, but don't
Yeah.
I
quote
like
me on
Splinter
that.
Cell and Hitman sort of grew up together as well.
Yeah,
like,
I
they
feel
all
like
have the
they
same
did.
sort of
I-
chaos theories,
yeah.
the blood money.
I think the
yeah.
first Splinter Cell came out like the same year, or maybe the year after, as Silent Assassin.
Yes.
Early
Something like that. I mean,
2000s.
it's almost 20 years ago, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
I don't know. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is
Absolutely
crazy.
crazy.
Do you ever go back and play the older games, or do you just stick with the trilogy?
It's, nah, sadly not. It's something I keep telling myself. Hey, you should revisit the older games. Maybe even try to speedrun them as well, because I never done that on the older games.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, like I kind of want to, but I'm like at the moment just like so busy with all this kind of stuff, like hosting tournaments and actually
Yeah.
playing myself, especially with the new game coming out. Like
Yeah,
I just don't have the time for it at the moment. But it's definitely something I do want to do.
yeah, yeah.
Roulette
Some
Rivals for
future.
Codename 47 coming soon.
That'll be
Nah, but
hilarious.
it's especially like, well, you agree, Reaper, like Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, like both our favorite nostalgia-wise.
Yeah, yes.
But it's been like, for me, I'd say 7-8 years since the last time I played that game.
Oh wow. Yeah, that is
Like
long
a really long time ago. So
Yeah.
I would actually be curious to see how it would hold up. Like
Yeah.
my memories of it and how it actually would play now.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah.
I think you'd be in for a bit of a shock. Gameplay
Probably.
wise. Yeah.
I played it last year, and like I'm younger, so I haven't had as much nostalgia experience, but I still really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
only my
great.
second
It's a great
playthrough, but
game. Yeah.
great game
Just a
still.
lot of the mechanics are just really outdated and
It's just less
bit buggy.
malleable to my eyes, at least. Maybe someone more experienced would be able to like.
Yeah, but you can
great
already
game.
see like the cool level design that Hitman is famous for, even
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
older games.
yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like the Lee Hong assassination sort of, I feel like set the core Hitman concept in motion. Just this big open space where you don't really understand at the start, piece things
Yeah.
together and find the route. Yeah, that map to me specifically is really impressive and one of my favorites because it sort of invented the modern style in a way, I guess.
Of level design. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's mostly started with Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, though. Like they really,
yeah,
in my opinion, anyway, they took
Yeah.
a different direction from Codename 47, where you
Yeah.
didn't even get a rating. Like Silent Assassin rating was introduced in Hitman 2 Silent Assassin.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I feel like that game is like what set the groundworks up for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I think, yeah, they definitely got the rating system spawned in Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. And I think
Yeah.
some of the core elements also came. I think it's a combination.
Well, there were amazingly
Yeah.
accidents didn't come till I think Blood Money or something. So
Yeah, Blood Money. Yeah.
quite far into the series.
So,
Yeah.
Frody, sorry, moving on to speedrunning.
Yeah.
So, I had a quick look at your channel earlier today, and I was
Yeah.
curious to see like where you'd started with it. So I stalked your channel a bit. I went all the way back
All
to
the way
your
to the
earliest
back, yeah.
videos. And I could see, yeah, as Tim stated earlier, you started around 2016, I think, uploading
Yeah.
Hitman 2016 speedruns. So was that did you speedrun other games before?
No,
No.
my very first game with a
wow.
speedrun.
That's quite impressive, actually.
That is impressive. So how long
Wow.
did it take you to actually start speedrunning it? Like almost instantaneously or?
No. Definitely not at all. At first, like, because it was episodic back then in 2016, right?
Oh,
so
right,
first
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just playing Paris like I used to, like just take my time and being overwhelmed. Like still that first time Paris was just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had that experience in any of the games in the series so far
First
with the
time
map.
Paris was special.
Oh,
Like the first time Paris, like on that scale, I was so lost. I'm not scared to admit that. I was so lost the first time.
Yeah.
I was like just so overwhelmed with the possibilities. And then you walk into the building, right? And you see Victor on those stairs and you're like, how the hell am I going to get in there? You know, it was like,
Yeah.
it was crazy to me.
I think they.
And then like,
oh, sorry.
yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to quickly
Uh,
say, I think after Absolution wrapped up in 2012, they worked on Paris for like 3 years or something.
Yeah.
In 2013, I think it got a lot more attention.
Originally, it was an open world thing. You could travel around subways and like go to different locations and stuff. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And then
No,
they just
didn't
scaled
know.
it
Wow.
back to the fashion show, which is
Yeah, wow.
quite.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So sorry, what were you saying
it's
before?
Yeah, so first we only had Paris, right? So I
Mm.
was just playing it like kind of casual. Wasn't really good back then because it was since Absolution that I really played a Hitman game. And I didn't even finish Absolution once. I stopped like halfway through because it just didn't have the aspects in the Hitman game that I value.
Yeah.
Like especially like the open environment, the freedom of approach, stuff like that. It was too linear from A to B, and lots of the levels without targets, and that just put me off. And
Yeah.
I just stopped like midway through.
Yeah.
And never looked back. So I was kind of rusty when it came to Hitman. But then like a month or 2 months later, Sapienza dropped, and that was also a great map.
Mm.
And then also around that time when Sapienza dropped, I joined the Hitman forum. And we were talking about Sapienza, and that's where I met players like Goulet.
Right.
And then we just started talking, and we were
Yeah.
like, hey, you have all these cool weapons on the map, like the katana, like the old axe, battle axe. Let's try to do that suit only. I was
Yeah.
already getting better at that point.
Yeah.
And just like as fast as we could. And we
Wow.
started out with minutes of times of 4 minutes, something like that. Like super slow compared to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where I found, wow, this is super fun to do this faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
And then like the first, and that's what really started it, the first batch of future contracts dropped.
Right.
And then we started to dive into those, and we had a very select group of players. We had CJ, we had Goulet, we had Mandy, we had C2, Alex Need, and a couple of others.
So many legendary players in that list. Wow.
Yeah, that was like such a small group, and we talked every day, and we just
Yeah.
went over those contracts, and we just destroyed them. And like every day, someone else of our group would take the new record, and that's
Yeah.
where I really fell in love with speedrunning. And I haven't looked back.
Yeah. That's really cool, man, to hear that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember years ago when I looked at I was looking at the featured contract times. I'm like, wow, they must all be hackers. There's no way to do this. It's impossible. No.
No.
These are people are legitimate. Like, my mind was blown. Like, back in
Yeah.
like 2016, 2017, I couldn't even comprehend how someone could pull something like that off. I'm still blown away today with new strats. Like,
I gotta say
fuzz
that there's
and
still a lot of
tricks.
hackers, though. It's still a problem. But
Yeah. But you go to YouTube and like speedrun.com
Exactly.
for the real times. Yeah.
exactly, especially like with the whole speedrun community, everyone knows each other. Like
Yeah.
Hitman is already a niche game, right? It's relatively small player base. And of that player base, like the speedrunners is even way smaller, like 5% or even less, you know? So it's not that we're talking about 10,000 of players that speedrun. It's like 1,000 maybe at the most worldwide. So most people know each other.
Yeah.
And we have this general understanding that we always say like, no video, no proof. And then it simply doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of proof, the 7-minute run you did of Hitman, was it 7 minute? How many seconds?
5 seconds.
Good. Oh my goodness. How on earth did you pull
was
that
that was that
quickly?
Dubai?
That was
No, that was the whole
the
game.
whole game.
All six,
Sorry,
all
the
6
7-minute video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. No, that was really cool. I watched that earlier today, just from start to finish, and I was.
It's not just speed run
I
of
was
the
blown
game.
away
That's
by
like
that.
fastest time to full game speed run I've ever seen. I swear. It's like a speed run of the game release. Good grief.
We actually have
I'm
a couple.
glad you enjoyed it.
We actually have a couple of questions regarding that video. But before we go there, I just wanted to quickly ask you, with that list of speedrunners that you mentioned before, was there any, like, did you see any of their videos that also inspired you to start doing it? Or was it just purely the discussion in the forums that got you interested?
Well, a little bit of both, really. Like I said, it really started for me with those future contracts. And like we had this select group of people playing it and like friendly competing against each other.
Yeah.
And then we would just quickly learn from each other. Like someone set a time that was a world record. He would post a video. We
Right.
would all watch and we're, oh, really? You can do that.
Yeah.
We just discovered the game together. And I think, we all learned a lot from each other.
Yeah. That's really.
And that's the cool thing because like, especially the Hitman community is just the best community ever because like they're also friendly and also
Yeah.
willing to help each other improve, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's not,
I was about to
there's
comment on
no,
that.
yeah,
Sportsmanship.
exactly. There's no hate between each other, you know? Like if
Yeah.
someone pulls off a great run, everyone is like, holy shit, dude, that was
Yeah,
amazing.
props.
Great job. Yeah, exactly. Props.
Yeah.
And then you learn a thing or two, like
Yeah.
something you haven't seen before. And then you pick that up and you put that in your bag of tools and you become a better player. And
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Massive credit to your community for being so welcoming, because there's like so many high level players there, but everyone still will help you out and they won't judge you for you can still get a commentated match, everything. They won't like, oh, you didn't beat this level in 1 minute. You're not allowed in
No,
this
not at
community.
all.
None of that. Other communities
Not at
might
all.
have that problem, but yours is, and the wider Hitman community as well is so welcome. It's such a great.
If anything, we just want to encourage new players to try out speedrunning and discover new prodigies, new super talented players.
Yeah.
That's for me personally with running the community. That's like the most beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Like I've had so many comments from people that joined our server, and they were like, I was so bad when I joined. And then like after a couple of months of like talking with all your players and participating in all the tournaments, I became so much better. Like I wouldn't be the player without that community. And then I'm like, that's what I want to achieve. You know, that's just such a
fulfilling.
How do you say it? Fulfilling, such a heartwarming moment, you know?
Yeah.
Then you're like, that's so fucking awesome.
That's awesome, man. Going back to your 7-minute video, I was like, I was gobsmacked by all your strats, but I was particularly impressed by the one for Berlin, because to me that almost felt like it was like seamless, and just because the way, like, it was almost like every target was in just the right spot. I just, it was just so graceful. And
you described it to me earlier as like a dance.
Yeah, it was like
completely
a dance
agree
almost.
with that.
It was just like, it was almost like a John Wick movie or something. It just seemed so well orchestrated.
I mean, there's some truth to that, because just like with dancing, like timing is just super important in speedrunning, obviously, and the same with the dance, with the moves and everything. So that's I can see that comparison.
Yeah. So I just wanted to focusing on Berlin in particular, that particular strat. Like, what is the process like producing such an eloquent strat like that in such a short time? Because that's a video that you've released within like a week of the game releasing, I think.
And Berlin particularly is such a mechanically, like, there's so many combinations of ways you could do things. Like
can you come up with a strat like that within a couple of hours, sort of thing? Or
how does it work?
What's the process like?
Yeah. Pretty much so, but that's because like we not just me, all the speedrunners like have all the experience from the last 2 games as well. Yeah, and you can see that with how quickly people are mastering these maps now, because like most mechanics are still the same. So people have this giant bag of experience from the previous 2 games, and all the items that you already unlocked from the previous 2 games.
Yeah, that's good.
So you definitely have a big head start compared to 2016. You know, it's easier now because of all the experience.
Yeah.
But as to your question, like how I approach it, how I would encourage everyone to approach speedrunning, is just first you just have to put a lot of time in just observing the targets. You have to follow their routes, see where they go, watch what triggers they have. The NPCs surrounding them, is there like a spot where I can kill him and no one will see him, stuff like that. Then you start to looking at, okay, what are my options for starting locations, and maybe even more important, what are my options to exit? And then you're looking at the exits that are closest to where you can kill the last target. And then you start to formulate the route around there, and then then it's just a lot of trial and error and optimizing until you get there. And that's something that people often underestimate in speedrunning, because they will always just see the speedrun on YouTube, right? And they're like, holy shit, that was easy, or wow, how did you do that like straight away, you know? But they don't see the process of hours before that, observing, experimenting, and everything, you know?
Look at one of Mendy's 10-hour streams or something.
Exactly.
Grinding Marrakesh for 2 weeks, just getting like the perfect time.
Mendy is a legend. There's no one with the amount of like patience and dedication for something like that, for a single run like that.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
I was also impressed in that video the way you just did it all in one go as well. There were no retries. I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, well, that's the big challenge about the full game run.
Yeah,
that's why for me, like, often you have to find a compromise between like the fastest threat and consistency and risk, you know?
Yeah, because consistency can be just as important as time, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Remember, Coddy emphasizes that in all of his, like, when he goes to speedrun events, he always talks about this isn't the fastest run, but it's interesting and it's consistent. And if there's something that isn't consistent,
that's what you want in full game runs, because like none of my times in that 7-minute run are like the quickest individual times for those maps. There are faster times on all the maps, but they all involve way riskier strats, and to pull that off in one go without mistake, that's just it's kind of different ball game from like individual level running, because then you just have to get it once, you know? You can just try it 100 times in a row, optimize, get lucky, get the right RNG. Just once out of 100 tries, 500 tries, and you got it, you know?
Yeah.
But with this, you have to consistently make it work.
You haven't done a full trilogy run yet, have you? Or at least not on your channel.
No, but I plan on doing so very soon. I have to wait for Hitman 2 to come to Epic.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And that only happened like a couple of days ago, I believe.
Yeah. So you're still yet to access those older levels?
Yeah, I haven't really played them.
Yeah, right. That's unfortunate. Yeah.
But that's definitely something I want to do.
Yeah, no, I think everyone go subscribe to Frote's channel, because we want to keep an eye out for that one. And I noticed your channel metrics are doing really well, man. Like you've really got some good views there. Yeah,
it's crazy. I gotta say, not just for me though. I see it with every YouTube or a Hitman content creator that posts their videos. Like it's really been hyped a lot this last month since release, and you can see it with all the views. It's awesome to see. Yeah,
I feel like Hitman 3 got a lot more love from the broader gaming community than Hitman 2.
Yeah, we talked about this in the previous episode, but I think the release timing, like first big game of the year,
new generation,
huge boon to the game. It's like made it a lot more popular than it would have otherwise for such a niche game, and it's great that it's also benefited the sort of core audience's viewership, and it's great. I'm just really happy to see it being people's understanding the game.
I agree, Timothy. The timing was perfect in January with no other big releases coming up, and from what I've heard, like some disappointment in like the earlier big games of 2020. I haven't really played them myself, but I
like Cyberpunk,
a lot of disappointment.
I think was the one everyone was very disappointed over.
Yeah, exactly.
And Hitman 2 was released like a week or two after Red Dead Redemption 2. I remember.
Bad decision, I reckon. Yeah. Oh dear.
So sorry, Frote, going back to speedrunning, do you have a like a favorite all-time strat that you've come up with, or are there too many?
Are we just talking about main missions, or also like future contracts and everything?
Probably main missions.
Yeah, I don't really know. Really know.
You see the strats are sort of combined knowledge that sort of come together each time. So like, is there a certain piece of like, is there something that when your community figured it out, you were like, wow, okay, we can do this now? Was there something like that? Was there any moments where, like the phone being able to destroy the stalactite in Sapiens, it was a problem.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tons of things. Yeah. The same with like certain ledge drops where the game just doesn't know, like, because you don't have fall damage in Hitman, right?
Yeah.
But you got these certain spots in the map, like the most famous example is I think Sapienza in the lab, where like you can just jump down instead of climbing down. And like, and there's actually a lot of spots like that. Yeah, but also like what's crazy to me, like in the months before Hitman 3 released, like a lot of the speedrunners also went back to the 2016 game, and like records were broken like 3-4 years later after release. Wow. That's also so crazy. But yeah, we got, and I can't emphasize this enough, we have so many incredibly talented speedrunners. Like there are, I'm not gonna start listing names because truth of the matter, there are just too many, and I don't want to leave anyone out. But there's so many such great players, and you learn from each one of them.
Yeah.
I'll give a brief shout out to Fuzz recently, his Sapienza run with the muffins. That really
Have you seen
was
that one?
hilarious to me
Yeah.
and very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of a
Yeah,
climb over
definitely.
geometry.
Was a great run.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool that even though it's only been 4 years, that there's still runs being
Yeah.
crafted like that or formulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Credit to the game as well and the developers for leaving such opportunity space there.
Yeah.
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 Which trilogy mission did you personally find the most challenging to speedrun, or to find a route?
To speed run. It's a good question, actually.
Including,
I think one of the most annoying ones is Santa Fortuna, because there you have to deal with Jorge. And that guy is incredibly random. It's like
so inconsistent.
pretty much the most random target in the entire trilogy.
I'm gonna go here. No,
Because of all his cuffs and the timing, right?
Yeah.
Like he could be a minute apart, like where he could be.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. Like usually where the RNG is the highest, that's usually the hardest to speedrun, because it simply means you have to attempt it way more tries just to get it at one time, you know?
And they're really spread out in that map as well, aren't they? Kind of like Mumbai.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier, I think, for casual players because they can sort of compartmentalize targets. But for speedrunners, it's like a whole different ballgame. Whereas like many more average player, they'll find something like Colorado immensely difficult. But for a speedrunner, that's very clockwork level. Doesn't have a lot of RNG. As far as I know, I'm not a very advanced speedrunner, but it seems easier that sort of level than something like Santa Fortuna. Yeah. It's interesting that the difficulty of something can change depending on the player.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's why you ask, like in regards to speedrunning, right? That's like a completely different story, because like normally speedrunning, I would say, without speedrunning, most people, like you said, Colorado is probably one of their hardest maps. But when it actually comes to speedrunning, it's not that bad unless you go for the crazy Maya kill. That just takes a ton of effort. But other than that, like in terms of speedrunning, then suddenly other maps prove to be more difficult than compared to a usual playthrough. So that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I remember I was your comment on Jorge made me smile because I remember watching a CJ stream, not Colorado, Colombia, a fair while ago, and he was commenting on that as well. He was saying how inconsistent he was, how annoying he was.
Like they just put that coffin to mess with speedrunners. Like, no, it can truly.
It does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah. Are there any other targets you feel are, obviously there's none as inconsistent as him, but do you feel there's any other targets that are similar in that aspect of not being predictable with their route?
None as bad as Jorge in that regard. You got other targets that are very, very RNG, depending on the method. Like for example, if you want to get the really quick Colorado, you want to panic Maya in that barn, and then she will run out, but she will be escorted by other guards, right? So if you shoot that hay bale, it's like 1 out of 50 at best that you only kill her without non-target kills, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But if you don't do that, you pretty much have to wait till like 1:45 until she just normally walks under that and it's a free kill, you know?
Right.
But if you want to get it like super quick, it's like 1 in 50 times
huge
at the
gamble.
best.
Yeah.
So that's some tough grinding, let me tell you. Especially when the rest is just super precise as well. So you have to perform all of that right, and then you need to get the right RNG, and that can be exhausting.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good method then if you're doing an entire run for the whole game.
Oh no, no one does that for a full game run. But that's the difference, right? Like single level, you just need to get it one time.
Yeah,
just once, and you got it.
Yeah.
I still find 2016 difficult for the head turning RNG. I don't know if people have overcome that now, but I haven't. I still find if I go back and play the old 2016 executable, I find the way that guards see you completely unpredictable. I don't know if it's like people have figured out a way to work around that now, but for me personally, that's still I don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they didn't implement those two ideas at the same time. Like the view cones and like from where they're looking from. Like they implemented that later on in 2016 with the turns and everything and the size of the view cones. So
yeah, wasn't
it just
the view
became
on the chest originally or something? It was in a different spot. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know you gave some tips before for like anyone that's going to start speed running, but if you had one piece of really, really important advice that you would give to any new speedrunner that's embarking on their kind of Hitman journey, what would it be basically? What piece of advice would you give?
That's a really good question actually. I would actually give two. First one being is make sure it's something that you actually enjoy, that you have fun with. Don't do it just to get on the leaderboard. You have to actually enjoy it. If not, you're not gonna enjoy yourself. You're gonna have a really bad time, because in order to properly speedrun, you just have to invest hours. It is what it is. You just need tons of experience to pull those runs off. So if that initial spark of interest or love or whatever you want to call it isn't there for speedrunning, and you just want to do it for, I don't know, whatever reasons, just don't do it, because it's not going to help. And other than that, for more importantly, the new players that are interested in it and are loving it, just experiment. Just try a lot of stuff. Just pull actions off like shooting a wall. See what happens. See what guards do, you know? And I say this a lot, and a lot of other speedrunners say this a lot as well. Always try dumb ideas. Always try dumb ideas. You'd be surprised at what you can pull off. Yeah. Like some of the most amazing runs, like for example, I've seen you mention Mendy's run at Marrakesh, right? Yeah. With the flying C4 on Reza. That's such a ridiculously dumb idea. It's so dumb, but he made it work, and that's just like because he's such a legend. But that's like that's what I mean. Like stuff like that. Try to think out of the box. Try to be unorthodox. Just hey, this is dumb. Let's just try it. Let's see how it goes. Can I make it work? You know? Yeah. Just that. Experiment. Experiment.
I trust that if he had never got it to work, he'd still be there grinding today.
Sure. I don't know, he has unbelievable stamina for speedrunning. It's incredible. Yes. I can't even comprehend that level. I could not do that. I cannot do that. That's amazing.
Oh, massive respect.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no equal in that regard.
Yeah. No. Good advice. Thank you for that.
Thanks for the advice, and thanks for sharing all your insight on speedrunning in general and your experience.
Yeah, no worries.
How you got into it?
Yeah, without trying to plug myself, I actually started the walkthrough series based on speedrunning in Suit only. And that kind of ties into this question. So if players are new to it, definitely check that out. I'm dropping like one episode a week, and basically showing a couple of strats that aren't the quickest, and then encouraging the players to find something on their own, because that's what Hitman speedrunning is about. You know? And like try new stuff, and also just like explaining certain tricks and mechanics along the way.
Yeah, I actually saw your like way back when you released it a few years back. I actually watched your speedrunning tips video for 2016. Yeah. And even just little things like allowing the cutscene to play out to the most kind of crucial interval to allow you to, to cut off those crucial seconds in the beginning, like things like that. As you were saying before about just try different ideas. Like me personally, I never would have thought to do something like that. Like,
so I remember learning that from that video as well. Yeah, so yeah,
crazy.
I think it was that video. Yeah, that's a great tip.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I saw your tutorial for Sapienza, the suit only speedrun tutorial for Sapienza. That was really cool. And using the sniper rifle to unlock doors, that was epic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Something I
really I also think that's like the cool part of speedrunning. Like even people that don't enjoy speedrunning, like you can still watch those videos and pick up a trick or two and say, hey, okay, I might not be going for speed, but that's actually really useful. I could do that. I could use that for my playthrough. Yeah.
You could use it on a sniper assassin run or whatever.
Yeah.
That particular mechanic is an example.
Oh. That's something I really enjoy about Hitman speedruns and even tutorials, is that they can sometimes just be ways to teach new tool set, like pieces of the tool set, rather than here's how exactly you do everything step by step, like in, I don't know, a point and click adventure game or something. It's like, no, in this game, here's how wall bangs work, or here's how bullet destructions work, or the coin can be used in this way or that way, or that's something I really like. It's you're given the tool set, so you have, it feels like infinite possibility space to experiment with, which I absolutely love about the speedrunning community. And it's such, unlike some speedrunning communities where there's a way to do things and you just have to grind and just do the way to do it. Hitman has such a diverse tool set, and it's encouraged by the community, and I absolutely love that aspect about it. Yeah,
I agree, Timothy. That's what makes Hitman speedrunning so awesome.
Yeah,
and also why it's pretty much the only game I have interest in speedrunning.
Yeah, I hope more games are like it someday, but for now,
So now we'd like to take the focus away from speedrunning and put more focus on your community. So Tim, you're going to lead the questions here.
Yeah. I'm really interested in how the idea of your speedrunning community, like competitions in the Discord, came to mind, and how did you grow it so successfully, do you think? Because it's an incredible community.
Well, mostly due to the players and the participants, but it's something that I didn't expect nor plan for. Like it was just like that very first speedrun competition that started everything off. Was just like planned to be a one-time thing, and it was in the summer of 2019 when it started, something like that. And at that point in time, we had like a drought in Hitman content, right? The live server stopped a bit, and people were getting kind of bored. And I was like, sure, let me just organize a speedrun contract and tie a reward to it. Let's just see, give people something to do. And it was meant to be a one-time thing. And then big shout out to Malapride, who offered to help me out from the start, created the Discord and helped with all the promos and thumbnails and all that stuff like that. And then we had that first competition with a great turn-up, great runs. And then like when it was over, like the feedback was just so overwhelmingly positive that me and Mallet were like, yo, people really enjoy this. And that got us really motivated to like making it bigger and bigger. So then we started having a tournament every 2 months or so. And just the demand kept rising. And we were getting more and more motivated with more and more people joining. That eventually we had like where we're at now, we have one big event each month and smaller competitions each week. And it's just, it's crazy. We reached over 1,000 members on Discord. It's
wow, that's so
crazy.
Cool.
Incredible. Well done, by the way.
Never expected this.
Yeah, and that's in less than 2 years as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's mostly due to the help of Malapride and all my other admins that helped in the past, and most importantly, the players. If you don't have a player base that enjoy it in the first place, you got nothing. So it's mostly them.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to see how excited they are for every new event that's coming up.
Yeah. And it's really cool to see that IO got behind it as well. Like I remember they were, giving you guys shout outs on Twitter and stuff. That's really cool that they got behind it.
Yeah. The guys at IO are so awesome and so approachable as well.
Yeah.
They're just like you and me, just like normal people that just love the Hitman game.
Yeah.
But what you said, it's so cool. They tweeted about it. They with the finals of each big tournament, they host my channel through their official IO
no
account.
Way, do they really?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I didn't know they did that.
And they also provided the winners with some cool prizes in some tournaments, like stuff like that. And talking about it in their live streams and stuff like that. That's just so cool to me.
Yeah. And wasn't there a video recently, IGN video or something?
Yeah.
They reacted.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
was that the IO devs that reacted to that?
Yeah, that was from IGN devs react to speedruns.
Oh yeah.
It was so insane as well that they picked my run.
You've been in a
for
few
that.
articles recently, haven't you? Yeah. They picked up a new device.
It's crazy, really.
Yeah. That's so good.
That's cool.
Yeah, all the exposure has been crazy since Hitman 3.
Yeah, I bet.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Did you notice a significant bump in your viewership based on sort of like mainstream games journalism picking up on your like content, or just out of interest? Did people come from there? Yeah, that's
Yeah. I was extremely lucky that after day one, by the end of day one, I pulled off that 17-second Dubai run.
day one.
Yeah, on day one, yeah. And then
Wow.
there was just, I was so lucky with the timing on that I got that run out. And then that run got picked up by a lot of gaming sites. And that video just blew up. It's at like over 100K views now, which is insane for such a small channel
That's so
like
good.
mine. Yeah.
Great job,
And
man. That's so good.
that just brought in so many new subs and followers and stuff like that.
Is that your?
But it was just lucky timing because like I posted that video of the 70 seconds, and like the day after already people were beating it by a second or whatever. Just the same method, but better executed, you know. But because of the lucky timing after day one, all the attention was on that first run of me. So I'm extremely thankful for that. Just extremely lucky timing.
Is that your best in terms of viewership? Is that your best performing video?
It is.
Yeah. That's so cool, man.
It shows that timing is everything. Same with Hitman 3's release.
It's not just
your video as well.
Yeah, it's not just the run itself. That's
I'm well aware how lucky I am with that timing.
But the skill is also there. It's not just like you've uploaded some random video and you got lucky. The skill is there as well. Like you have to take credit for that as well, I believe. Yeah. So good job.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I guess but I do feel that like the timing was more crucial there.
Think about how quick you did it though. The timing is your credit.
Yeah, I guess.
20 seconds.
It's just lucky for the most part, in my opinion, anyway. But I'll take it anyway.
You're allowed to take it here. It's all right. Yeah. So in your community, can you give us a rundown of all the different events that you've run? I know that Ghost Mode used to be an event, the Ghost Mode tournaments, but of course Ghost Mode was removed, unfortunately.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a great mode, but I suppose I understand the reason for removing it, not enough popularity, but can you give us a rundown?
That's it really. But that's kind of like a double-edged sword, because if they put more effort into updating it, I feel like more players would have loved it. Like but they didn't because not enough players loved it. So it's like this ongoing circle. But sadly. But back to your question. Ghost Mode, obviously, we had that. And then the other two main things are regular speedrun competitions, which are basically 3 contracts. And then the fastest combined time will win. And we got, which started yesterday, roulette rivals, which is so amazing. Also, the IO guys seem to really love it, so that's awesome.
I want to give a shout out to Roulette Rivals from my perspective, because so I've competed in the last year's Roulette Rivals, the final Roulette Rivals. I'm not a good player compared to some of the other players, but the amount of support you get in that community, even if you lose every single round, all the people commentating your match, they're like, oh, that was a great move, good job, that was so impressive. And it's such a supportive place. It's one of the few places I find in speedrun communities where you can actually mingle. If you're a casual player trying to get into the speedrunning, you can mingle with the like absolute legends, and no one judges you. They're all supportive, and it's such a good community. I want everyone that's watching this to join that place and try and just be involved in that, especially Roulette Rivals. I absolutely love it. So
Friday.
They're all just normal people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get people have this notion, like he's such a great speedrunner. He's famous. He doesn't want to talk to me, dude. We're all just normal people, you know. Just like chill. It's just a game after all. In the end,
I'm still yet to sign up to one of your competitions, so I'm definitely going to have to.
Don't be nervous.
No. Yeah. Well, I kind of am, but it sounds really welcoming, and definitely gonna have to give it a crack.
Yeah, for sure. Would love to have you participate.
Yeah,
I lost every round I was in last year, and I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. I think like the biggest factor regarding the community is that everyone feels like everything we do is just like a community effort.
Yeah,
and that's why people are like encouraging each other to improve, because like every new record that's been set by a player it just feels like a community effort, you know, because every player learns so much from other players as well. So even though it's like one player that pulls off a run, it's still like a community thing, and that feeling is rooted really deep in our server.
Yeah,
and that's why people are like so welcoming to new faces as well. Like try to see them get better, like expand the community that we have.
That's a great way to put it as well, like rooted deep, because some servers might be like, okay guys, we've got to encourage new players now, but in your server from day one it's been new players are on the same level as the legendary players, and everyone works together and learns together, and it's such a great place.
Thanks. I'm very, very proud of it.
I'm really impressed with all the behind-the-scenes organization as well. Like just the fact that all the streams, all the broadcasting seems to run really seamlessly. Like there doesn't seem to be, and just all the graphics and everything, like those like the roulette wheel animation and things like that. Like you guys have some real talent on board there.
Once again, big shout out to my team. That like they're responsible for that. They're amazing with all that stuff, and they all have their own talents and contributing to all these events. Yeah. But it's still it's still a learning experience from us as well. Like by no means are we professional tournament hosts whatsoever. We still learn from the feedback with like every tournament. You know.
Yeah. I think once you reach the 2-year mark, and you've built it to the point you have, I think.
And there's cash prizes sometimes.
All sorts of, always. Every month we have like a big event, and they always involve cash prizes.
There you go.
Yeah, nothing too crazy, of course, but because we do want to keep it friendly, you know.
Yeah.
We don't want to raise the prize money to a point where people
$1
get
million for winning,
really feisty against each other, and
too competitive.
It would kind of break like this atmosphere thing that we got going on right here of helping each other.
If you, like a €50 prize feels like, or €100, it just feels very it feels like a welcoming, like fun prize to work towards, but it doesn't matter if you don't win. It's like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Have there been instances of like cocky players having, you know, do you have to stamp out that element of people being too feisty or competitive, or is it?
No, not really.
Not really.
Like in that regard, the community just corrects themselves.
Credit to the community then.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in general, they're just like really friendly people.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But also if you have like a new player showing up with like a big mouth, blah 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 blah, and then he sees like what all the players in my community have done, and then they quickly just remain silent.
Away. Tail between their legs, scamper off.
Yeah.
Bit different to like Call of Duty then.
But I have to say though that hardly ever happens. Like everyone that joins has been just cool, just friendly, just wanna learn, get better.
That's really cool.
It's awesome.
Slight aside, I noticed you're not wearing a big red afro or a red clown nose. So what inspired your what inspired your sort of like clown branding?
I'm off work right now, right?
Oh, okay.
Like in a couple hours.
It'd be hard to fit it on your headset anyway.
Good. What made you choose that as the branding? Because I was saying before to Reaper that the clown's clever, because now anytime I play with the clown in the game, I'm like, oh, I'm playing as Frote now. That's what it feels like.
Whenever I see the clown now, it's always, you just automatically think of you. Frote,
brilliant.
I did kind of create that image with that by not ever wearing another suit. As to why, for your question, I just feels it matches my personality the best. I like the clown of myself. Like I'm not a serious guy at all. So that and just like the funny contrast it gives. Like you're dressed ridiculously as a clown,
that's a good point.
but then you're still pulling off these sick speed runs, right? It's just so it doesn't make sense in the Hitman universe, but it works.
And getting around in those massive shoes as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the clown on the trapeze doing like all the incredible tricks. It's like, okay, I'll give you some credit, even though you've got a squeaky nose on and with big shoes. All right. So you talked already a little bit about the people behind the scenes. How do you orchestrate such large-scale community events so frequently? Like, how do you actually organize something like that and keep it working smoothly and the oil and the gears sort of running? Yeah. if that makes sense.
Well, mostly just clarity and consistency. Like we got this this group chat on Discord, of course, with all the admins, and like every 2 weeks, we just have a meeting and where we discuss the plans for the upcoming month. And yeah, basically at this point, like roulette rivals, this is already the 5th one. Speedrun competition, we have already done so much. So like it's not that much more about setting up, but more about okay, who does what at which time. And like at this point, we're all pretty experienced. So it's like we know exactly all the tasks that we need to do and the deadlines and how much time that takes. And we each have our own responsibility. So it's basically at this point, it's become routine, really. It's just we have a meeting every couple of weeks. We discuss, okay, next month, we're going to do this. We're going to have a speedrun competition. Okay, you and you are in charge for the promo. You and you are in charge of that and that. And like everyone has a very distinct task within the admin team. So it's like really, easy going. Yeah.
That's great.
At this point, though, we had a lot of struggles, of course, when we just started.
I imagine.
So we had to figure everything out for ourselves. But at this point, it's just...
We've had a similar experience setting up the podcast. We're like fumbling around and trying to work out. I mean, it's not on the same scale as what you're doing, but it's still like you have to kind of...
It's kind of fun, right?
What are we going to do next episode, you know? We got to get
someone
on.
That's
kind of exciting, right? Learning along the way.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And then like especially then like a year from now, if you guys are still doing this podcast, and then like looking back at the first few episodes and then compared to over a year and like what has changed, what has improved.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually really fun to see. You'll see in this episode, there's a few extra little things going on. We won't spoil it now for you, but you'll see. Yeah, when you watch the final one. Something I find interesting is that like I've told some people about like just personally my like moderating work because I moderate the subreddit and the Discord, the Hitman Discord. Obviously, I have this podcast with Reaper now, and I found that some people that I talk to about it that may not understand it wonder why I do it. And I think for me, it's just that I appreciate the communal aspect of it, and I like that people can come together over something, and I like to facilitate that. Is that a similar sort of experience for you? Like, obviously, you don't get paid for doing your work here.
Oh, nothing.
Is it just that you?
If anything, it costs us a lot of time and effort, and money as well with all the prize money and stuff.
But clearly, the effect it has on people transcends that cost. So, is that something you recognize as like really important to you, like the sort of community events and communal aspect of the
definitely. That's definitely a big part. It's all connected in that regard. It's also like especially that first one was also somewhat out of self-interest, as in like at that point, and a lot of players said that we were bored with Hitman 2. We there was no live content coming anymore. We didn't have anything really to do. Like the player activity was just slowly dying at that point. And then it was like, but I really love these games. I love Hitman. I want to have something to do all the time. And I know that feeling lives in a lot of players, you know, like they love the game, but what's there to do when there's no live content anymore?
Yeah.
So, and then to have a community around that, meeting new players. I gotta say, I've been in other communities with gaming, not as involved as with this one, but I gotta say, like overall, the Hitman community is just full of awesome people. Because it's also like, and I've talked a lot about this with a lot of people. It takes like a certain person to like really get addicted to Hitman, like love Hitman, you know, like it's a way different profile than like your typical GTA 5 player.
Yeah,
but like no offense with that whatsoever. It's just like it's a certain type of people that enjoy the Hitman games, you know.
Be interesting to create like a
I don't know
forensic profile of the atypical Hitman player.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what type of player you are, whether you're a speedrunner or whatever.
Yeah,
it's quite incredible that such a niche game has been able to sustain itself for 20 years straight. Like that's quite amazing. I'm actually amazed that the trilogy is actually complete. That they actually managed to pull that off with the amount of like publisher
Road
changes
bumps.
and like funding issues throughout. Incredible. Yeah. The cool it has something there which draws people back to it. Yeah. So I guess like last question on your on the community that you run is like, how do you see it going forward? Since Hitman 3 is the last Hitman game for this foreseeable future, or the last one planned, do you think you'll want to interested in sustaining it for the future, or do you want to stick to Hitman or branch out to other games? But you seem to have made it clear that other games don't seem to provide the same sort of opportunity space that you're looking for in a competitive game. Yeah.
No, as it is right now, like I can't look in the future, of course, but it will stay Hitman focused, and we will keep going as long as people show interest for it and we're motivated. But
So
I can
5 years down the track,
I can see
people
us
are still
do
into
this
Hitman.
for at least for another 2 years easily.
Sure. That's great to hear.
That's really
we're not
cool.
promising anything here, just so
actually,
everyone knows. But that's
no,
that's cool to hear that you're
but-
interested in. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like how it's going now, it's like all about as long as we, the organizers, are having fun doing it, and more importantly, the people still love participating in all these tournaments, then it's like a no-brainer. We just keep going until that stops.
Yeah, and I really hope the player base do remain interested. I'm sure they will, as long as you guys are, because once IO's done releasing live content for Hitman 3, that's it for a long time. So I think you guys will be really the main driving force once IO move on to 007. Like, I feel like your speedrun community, the events that you put on will be the main kind of flame keeping the game alive, I suppose.
Yeah,
the trilogy alive.
I hope so.
Personally, I think lots of games are kept. They're supported longer by the community than the developers, just because the community isn't financially
That makes sense,
interested.
right?
So of course it makes sense. Yeah, it's a great credit to the game if there's enough there to like sustain a player base for so long, and great credit to the community for actually caring about it enough to do so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it all stands and falls with the community, right?
Yeah,
Goes for every game.
True, very true.
Absolutely.
Always about the community.
And the Hitman community never goes away.
No.
There'll always be
I mean,
opinionated, and they'll always be there.
They were there
For
from
sure.
2006 all the way through to 2012, and then all
They
the way
survived
through to
through Absolution.
2016.
They managed to make 2016. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll be there till
that's so
2030.
funny as well. Like the only thing that we all have in common is that we all love Hitman. But other than that, people are in the community are so divided about Hitman, and it's super funny to see.
Yeah.
But in the end, we just all love the game, you know?
Yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah. Well, that about wraps up our questions for you, Frody.
Yeah.
All right.
So obviously we have the final mailbag section, but before we get into that, we'll just quickly plug your channel one more time.
Nice.
Did you want to plug it yourself again?
Yeah, sure. So on YouTube, it's just Frote7, my name. Same on Twitch. I stream on both now since last week. See how
Awesome.
that goes. And other than that, you can find me on Twitter under the name Frote7. And that's the 3 places I'm mostly active at.
Awesome. Okay, well, we just want to give a big thank you, a huge thank you to Frody for coming on the podcast. Really, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, our pleasure.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so cool to get some insight into what happens with your community behind the scene and and how you formulate some of your just insane strats.
Thanks, man.
I think we were saying last episode when Big Dave was on, because he's obviously a casual speedrunner, and we were saying...
He's a good player.
Yeah, he
I've
is.
seen,
Have you
I've
seen some of his
runs,
runs? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually the one that found that wallbang kill on Jordan with the baseball.
Oh, with the baseball,
on
yes.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that he's the one who found that one. So
Yeah,
he's a good player.
Yeah, because I remember seeing him do that run with the baseball, and I have seen a couple of other people do it, but I definitely saw him do it first, so that could well be true. But yeah, no, if like Hitman was really, really popular and was an actual esport, I'm definitely would not be incorrect in saying that players like yourself would be at the top of your game.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I mentioned earlier, there are so many insane players. Like it's you'd be surprised. And some of them
Not
don't
many
get
of
the
them are doing it
exposure
in
that
17
they
seconds,
should.
though.
And that's like it's a shame. But like I said, there's like I could name at least 50 players that are just on the same level. They're so good.
Occasionally I'll find like a 100 sub YouTube channel with like a incredible Hitman run I've never seen before.
Exactly.
I'm like, wow, there's people everywhere. It's
Do you know,
impressive.
Frody, do you know Dominic?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's also in our server. Yeah.
Is he? Yeah, I think you know Dominic, don't you, Tim?
I lose track of names after a certain while,
Right.
but the name sounds familiar. Dominic sounds familiar.
Dominic something. But he does some crazy runs on like Codename 47.
On all the games.
Some of the older games.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, I remember him.
On all the games. Yeah.
He did like a Li Hong assassination, but he set up this rule so that the bodyguards would kill Li Hong for him.
Yeah. He's an amazing player at all the games. At all the Hitman games.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And he's won at least one of your competitions, hasn't he?
Yep.
Probably more than one.
I think I would have to look at the archive, but at least one. At least one big.
Which is
at
a
least
huge
one
achievement
big,
given the amount of skilled players in those competitions. That's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to cut things off with the now familiar mailbag segment where we get viewers and listeners to submit responses to a particular question, and obviously in theme with Frody with speedrunning. This episode's question focused on speedrunning. And Tim, did you want to read it out?
Yeah, we'll start with Cake941's response. And the question was, have you ever tried speedrunning in Hitman, and why or why not? So quite a relevant question this week. So Cake941 has replied with, yes, I've tried speedrunning. Usually I play quite immersively, not worrying too much about Silent Assassin, picking off non-targets with melees and various guns. But speedrunning, in the current trilogy at least, makes it so Silent Assassin is pretty much the be-all end-all goal. It's pretty much the opposite of my regular play style. I saw a few videos from some people like Frote7 and Goulet, and got inspired. So I tried speedrunning some escalations, contracts, and missions occasionally. It's speedy, exhilarating, and exhausting too, but it's worth it when you get to the top 10 leaderboard time. For a short period during Hitman 2's lifetime, I held the #1 spot in the Delgado larceny escalation. That was quickly stolen from me. But that's the charm of speedrunning. You compete against other speedrunners and you learn from their strategies and your own mistakes as well. I think it's a fun test of skill and collaboration in a way. Yes, I think everyone in this podcast would completely agree with what you just said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speedrunning isn't just about being the best at certain thing, but also about understanding and learning from others. I think Frody's already talked about this previously in the podcast, but yeah, absolutely. Great way to see it. Yeah.
And just having that like culture or that ethos of support, making everyone feel welcome, which is the very kind of the whole idea surrounding like your community, Frody. So I think it's really important that new players feel welcomed into giving it a go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for the millionth time, I want to shout out Frote's Discord. Everyone join. It is the most welcoming Hitman place on the internet, and that's from someone who moderates 2 other places on the internet. Go to Frody's one. It's so good.
We'll leave a link to your Discord too, Frody, in the video description.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I got nothing to add to what Cake said. I completely agree with him.
Yeah,
it's a test of skill and collaboration. That's actually very well put.
And it's cool that like immersive players can mix things up and approach it as well.
For sure.
Give it a go.
When I was playing last year in the Roulette Rivals, I was called I was called a role play strats player, which I find quite amusing. It was because some of my strats were very using the mission stories to sort of like navigate the way I was speedrunning, and occasionally, you know what, the tortoise beat the hare, and I actually did quite well.
Sure.
But yeah, it was great. They're like welcome you to every play style.
That was more said in a jokingly manner, I think, because it's actually
and I got that as well. I was
very viable method actually to approach roulette rifles.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like worried about them saying that. I actually felt like they were being accepting when they talked about it like that. Yeah, they're like, oh, this is a different method. It actually can work really well. Yeah,
exactly.
On to the second response. So we have a user named Asian47, and they state, I've tried speedrunning in Hitman, but that is only when I am very comfortable with a map. I enjoy pitting myself against other players and seeing how well I do in these instances. However, for the most part, I play Hitman casually, ticking off challenges and testing items that I've unlocked through mastering challenges. I also enjoy just exploring the intricacies of each level, such as NPC dialogue and knowing locations in a map. Yeah.
I can attest to the importance of testing out new mastery weapons, even if they seem like they're the same as previous weapons. Like you may discover that the Krugermeyer is different to the Silver Bowler, actually, or other things like that. I think it's worth testing out new unlocks, even if they seem like they might be the same.
Yeah,
always.
Or recently, I think it's a glitch, but the Arctic sniper rifle is absurdly overpowered. It can do wall bangs. It can do like explosion bullets or whatever it's called. It's completely ridiculous. But good fun.
That will be fixed soon, though.
Probably fixed in a few days.
Do you unlock everything like that, Frote?
What do you mean exactly?
Like, do you always?
I do unlock I unlock everything.
Everything.
Is it your first priority when you play the game? Like, get all the mastery, then speedrun, or do you sort of do it at the same time?
No, I do it in that order. Like with Hitman 3, I used the same approach as with Hitman 2. So I just played one map a day, all just live streaming it. And for the first couple of hours, I would just knock off all these challenges to get to Mastery 20, so that I unlocked all the starting locations. And then at that point, okay, we're going to speedrun for a couple of hours, set the run for that day. And then the next day, I moved on to the next day, or to the next map. And then after 6-7 days, I was done. And then the day after, I did my first full game run, which was like 7 minutes 57.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone beat that. And then a week later, I got the 7:05.
Yeah, well,
but in that order, like you said, Timothy, first unlocking everything and then speedrunning.
Do you prefer to start with mission stories, or do you prefer to start just straight up? Yeah, playing.
No. I make full use of mission stories. I put them up all the way. I let myself be fully guided. I also save scum a lot in these. I just want to get the mastery done.
Which the designers encouraged. I saw an interview. They said, yes, save scum all the way. You'll learn a lot by save scumming. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty hard to get full mastery when you're only speedrunning. Not utilizing those mission stories and.
The XP creeps up. I see some players with like 1,200 like mission level, whatever it's called, which is like, okay, clearly you've put a lot of time into getting like doors unlocked and guards knocked out XP.
I mean, like overall, like the assassination challenges obviously give the most XP, like mostly 4K per challenge. But it doesn't go that slowly with speedrunning either. Especially like when I was working on Berlin, you have 5 targets, right? And it goes wrong a lot of the times, but you're still killing 5 targets every time. And like that's for an hour and your XP already goes crazy.
Yeah, particularly in that map, if you get like if you get the versatile assassin challenge, where you get like accident kill and
yeah, exactly.
shoot him in the head or whatever. Going back to the Arctic sniper rifle, I think that's the only item I haven't unlocked from Hitman 2, because I could just not be arsed grinding through that sniper map.
It's a terrible grind. It will take you most part of a day. Yeah, for sure.
The designer of that map, one of the lead designers of that map, showed up in the subreddit once and apologized for making it 20 mastery levels. So really? In case anyone was worried, the guy who actually was one of the lead designers was like, okay, that was a bad idea. So yeah.
No, I don't think that's the problem, that it's 20 mastery levels. I think it's the problem that the amount of XP required for each level substantially grows bigger with each step, especially after level 12. It just becomes crazy.
Yeah.
Like at that point, you have to like complete 3 or 4 silent assassin runs, like with the best score, just to gain 1 level, you know?
Yeah.
So you're saying they should lower the amount of XP per level and they could keep it 20 mastery and it would be more reasonable.
I see no reason as to not do it how they're doing it with the main games or like with the main mission, where it's just a fixed amount of XP. It's always 6k to the next level. No matter how high up you are, it's always 6k. And like, that's a lot better.
I actually set up a stream one day just purely, as you say, just spend like 4 or 5 hours just pumping through that map, and I only played it for about 20 minutes because just the minuscule amount of XP, and I was only on like mastery level 12 or 13, and the minuscule amount of XP you got, it's just like, no, I can't be bothered.
It also doesn't help for me personally. Like, I'm not a big fan of the mode. Like when a new sniper map drops, I'll play it for one day. I'll have fun for one day, but then I just never want to touch it again.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I haven't really gone back.
I enjoy
it. Doesn't offer that much replayability compared to like the main missions.
No,
I enjoy the sniper maps, but I think what lets it down is that accident kills can cause evacuations and stuff like that. Whereas I think if you allowed like an electrocution account as like the normal game, like people would just be confused or be an accident. Then it would make it more replayable because you use a lot more tools at your disposal.
That's a fair point.
But it's a bit off topic. But
sorry, going to back to Asian 47's response. I think they had a really good point in that they only feel comfortable speedrunning when they know the map really well, and I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. Like I wouldn't even consider myself a casual speedrunner, and the few times I have attempted it have always only, I think, been on the legacy maps because obviously you know them back to front.
I think the best speedrunners take it slow at the start, ironically. Like they'll learn things, and what slow is can differ between people. Like for Frote here, it might be a week would be slow to learn a map. For some people, it might be a month, and that's okay. It's not means you're less intelligent or something.
It also depends on how you define mastering a map.
Yeah, it could be how many isolations can you find, or could be how well do you understand the different like exits and entrances to different areas.
Yeah,
like
understanding every room, or is it simply getting to max mastery? Like that also really depends. But I also get somewhat related. I also get a lot of comments like, "Yo, why are you speedrunning this game? You just paid 60 euros for it, and you're done in 10 minutes. Like that's such a waste of money." And then I'm like, you are aware that before that final product that you see on YouTube, that's countless of hours of just testing and observing, right? Like, and it's pretty safe to say speedrunners spend the most amount of time in the game. Like just by observing, it's just the fact you have to be able to pull off those runs. And then I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah,
you know, like why do you speedrun? Such a waste for 10 minutes. Yeah. I don't know.
But even if you had have not spent all those hours in the game, there's still always so much more to do in Hitman. Like you can always set your own rules, and especially with the featured contracts, it's seemingly endless.
I spent 800 hours in Hitman 1 with minimal speed running. So if that's if that says anything, then it's such a content dense game without having. Like just judging it by 6 maps or something, like some people do.
Yeah,
I think that's not
but
accurate.
I think that also somewhat ties back to what I mentioned earlier about like it's a certain type of people that love these Hitman games.
True.
Like if you have no interest in like replaying stuff and you want instant action gratification all the time, Hitman is not the game for you.
No.
It is what it is. But I wanted to say back to that comment of Asian. I have it up here. I also like that he mentioned the NPC dialogue because that's something I feel is like one of the strong points as well in this game.
Yeah.
Even though like I'm a speedrunner, but dialogue is hilarious.
Oh, it's so good. I watched a video today actually of what's the mission, the bonus mission in Sapienza called with the movie star?
The icon?
Yeah,
The icon.
The icon, yeah.
Yeah, and then, have you come across that dialogue with the two NPCs looking at the movie poster? And they say they say like they should have cast Dave Bateson.
Dave Bateson, yeah. Because isn't the icon's
so
the original Absolution 47 act or something like that? Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's just so much brilliant and hilarious dialogue in the game. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah,
I always say huge credit to the guard actors because they have the most dialogue in the entire game.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, what's also funny, like us speedrunners, right? So we run a certain section of the map over and over again, right? So we just hear the same dialogue at times. So it's sometimes funny in our server, like someone just says a quote, and then you have like 20 people just continuing the entire dialogue because it's so imprinted to our brain because we heard it like 1,000 times by just repeating that single section. It's just super funny.
Yeah.
You seen that albino the other day? I thought he was a client, or like those sort of like. Have you seen Ramon? Those sort of lines that are just imprinted in your mind forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally get that.
And going back to that run you did in Berlin, Frody, in your 7-minute run, entire run of Hitman 3 we were discussing earlier, speaking of dialogue, I noticed in the comments someone had said how funny it was, how the ICA handler kept checking in with every agent they kill, and you were just popping them off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was hilarious. I had to pin that one because it was just so funny.
So good.
You okay? Oh, are you okay?
Yeah. Oh, fuck it. Let's just get out.
Let's just get out of here.
Everyone leave.
Mass exodus.
But also like a lot of, and that's also because a lot of people say like, yeah, we want the old dark atmosphere back from the older Hitman games. But like, if you pay attention to like this NPC dialogue, like it's not on the surface level, but there's quite some dark stuff going on all these maps. If you like listen to certain dialogues, and that's for me, it's even more interesting than like right in your face.
Mm.
Subtly, there's a lot of subtle like strange things going on, like interesting subplots and interesting stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people criticize the like main plot has been uninteresting to them, but I think if you combine the like in-game dialogue with that, I think the actual game has interesting stories to tell. Yeah, personally, that's definitely my personal opinion. Yeah.
I don't care about the main story at all, but funnily enough, I do care about the NPC dialogues. I feel like those are like just interesting.
The writers have a bit more fun with them, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I saw an interview with the main writers that wasn't like an IO interview that they released themselves. You know how Clemens made those interviews with some of the IO stuff? But it was an interview with the two lead writers at some gaming convention from like 2019 or 2018. And Michael Vogt, the main writer, he was saying that writing the overarching story versus writing the in-map dialogue is just completely different. Like it's two entirely distinct disciplines of writing. Like, and I remember quoting that like, because there's just so many possibilities in the sandbox mode, you have to write, you have to think up of every eventuality. Yeah. And that's why the NPC dialogue is just so fantastic, because has to accommodate every eventuality, which is just really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I even had some fourth wall moments with the NPCs. It was really crazy. After the podcast, I'll link you to some of them. You'll love it, Reaper and Timothy.
Yeah, cool.
Super funny.
Cool.
Sounds good. Do we have one more response, Tim, we wanted to read out?
Yeah, one more response. I can't pronounce this guy's name, so I don't know. If can you pronounce this guy's name, Reaper? I'm not sure.
Frot? Is it Frot?
Frote. That's a 7, yeah? Yeah.
I think
he says, once or twice. That was his...
Oh, that guy.
At least you gave it a go. I don't know. At least you gave it a go.
I don't know who this guy is, but...
Yeah.
Once or twice.
He tried.
He
gave a good shot. Got a lot of reactions there. I don't know why, but interesting response. I guess, trying once or twice.
I heard he got 7 minutes in his second go, so that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive.
I think he cheats.
He must be one of those hackers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I think that about wraps things up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we sign off, thank you to everyone that submitted a response.
Yeah.
We're going to try and get everyone featured eventually. So keep posting your responses.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening and watching. Make sure to leave some feedback in the comments. And
Also, I have a special shout out
yes.
to Hydrated Plover, who did. You'll see these new amazing sort of outlines and to our videos. You'll see what I mean when you watch the video. And also the logo, all been redone in this sort of neon
revamped
sign. They did that off their own back,
cool.
just for fun. So major shout out to Hydrated Plover. You can
and an even bigger shout out.
Hitman server.
One more huge shout out to Frote for coming on the podcast, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. It's been
Shout out to you guys for doing this. It's it's really cool. I hope to see a lot of different players.
Yeah.
Like now we had. This is the second one you did or the third one. So you had like basically.
Interview. Yeah.
Like Dave is extremely talented in lots of stuff, but he's like also a speedrunner.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to see completely different guests as well, like people that are just there for the story or just I don't know.
Yeah.
So like I hope you guys continue doing this and thanks for having me.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Oh, you're welcome. We're having a lot of fun with it, and I'm sure we definitely like I think the idea is to keep it going at least for as long as IO are pumping out content for Hitman 3.
Sounds good.
And we'll see what happens after that.
See what happens after that. Yeah, kind of like your community, just go with the flow.
And we do have we won't.
It's always the best way to go in life, man.
Won't reveal any names, but we do have a diverse list of interesting guests. I hope. So no names at all at the moment.
Oh, and also worth mentioning, we also have a guest pool in the All Things Hitman Discord. So we're kind of open to having anyone on the podcast as long as you're a Hitman fan. So you can, if you're a viewer or listener and you are interested in coming on as a guest, you can
pitch yourself.
You can pitch yourself. Yeah. We can't guarantee we'll get you on, but if
you can have 0 subscribers on YouTube, you can have no Twitch views, and you can be interesting enough to have us on the podcast. So don't worry about your sort of like current community presence or profile.
Yeah.
It's just about being interesting enough to like have a chat to.
Yeah. So, or if you have a unique talent of some kind.
Exactly. Let us know.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
If you know how to make a replica silver baller or something. Maybe we should get Beta Guard on for that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and make sure you head over to Frote's YouTube, subscribe, check out his speedruns. They're, in my opinion, definitely some of the best on the whole platform.
Thanks, man. Too much honor.
And they can catch you on Twitch pretty regularly for streams, right?
Since this week, actually, I started a new schedule. I'll be streaming 6 days a week. 4 days of that on Twitch and the other 2 on YouTube, mixing it up a little bit.
Congratulations on being able to do that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, I just tried it out, really, the YouTube thing, because I'm mostly a Twitch streamer. And I don't know, the response was great. So I was like, sure.
Good
People
job.
wanted to see it more regularly. Sure, then I'll just combine the 2. Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a really good idea. All right. Well, until next time.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks again for having me. And,
you're welcome. And
it up.
We'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Awesome. All right.
All right.
See you next episode, and signing off.